Yes, yes, welcome to the Bristol Channel. Yeah, right. Okay, welcome guys to the next adventure. So today we're up on the Bristol Channel targeting smooth hound, and we got something a little bit special for you today to use as bait. So we're going to get into this session now. I've happened to have had to walk 1,000,000 miles, and I mean 1,000,000 miles. Fortunately, I brought the car today due to the van breaking down last week, and yeah, absolute nightmare. But we've had to walk a little bit further than we normally would, so let's hope it pays off. But rig wise, pulley rigs, I went through today with you, okay, on the fishing show. Now for those of you who haven't seen yet, I've got a new up and coming channel, okay, it's called The Fishing Show, and it's only just started a few weeks ago, and it's got a lot of like behind the scene footage and reviews and stuff like that, and yeah, it's coming on well. I think people are enjoying it, which is good. But okay, so big shout out to Nobby from the Isle of Wight, Slamfish. When I was over in the Isle of Wight, I seen these spider crabs. First time trying them on this channel. He sent me over 30, bless his cotton socks, and you can purchase them straight from Nobby, and yeah, going to be using them today, okay. Loaded up with that, I'm also using prawn from Hooker's Baits. So we got some frozen prawn to use on one rod, and we got some crab to use on the other. But look at those prawns, look at that. Way lovely. And we all know the smooth hound are attendants for a little bit of prawn. Something about it, I don't know what. But anyway, gonna put the first rod out now. I'm actually doing a two-part, well, a two-sided feature, because I'm actually doing reviewing some line at the same time. So I've got some new line on today, something which I don't normally do, because I normally stay with what works, what I find works, but I've been recommended it, so I thought, why not give it a go? So the pulley rig, those of you who want to know how to tie it, go over onto the fishing show, and I've tied these up this morning and put the video on. It's a pulley rig with 5/0 snail knot with basically a snail setup with 2 chinoos, and this is a fun part. So these have been out the freezer for a little while. I've got to try and get them off. What I'm going to do is I'm going to try and crunch it. Yeah, lovely. So I'm basically going to cut that in half. I've used these before, but much bigger. Me and Craig Pope years ago used to go up North Devon, and a certain time of year up at one of the beaches, there are big rock pools, and you used to be able to get them there. And we used to put them in the freezer and use them for the smooth hound. And we had a good session up here one day, and yeah, it seems to do the trick. I don't necessarily use the legs, people do, but all I'm going to do with it is basically pull off any hard bits, okay, just to get the main crab. I mean, this one is a little bit frozen still, but as you can see, the scent is there. I'm going to use these as big baits. I'm after a 20. That's a target for the day, boys and girls, a 20-pound smooth hound. I'll be happy with anything over 15, and we'll be happy for the production anything over 10. But I'm using these like that, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to basically put the hook point down through like so. Then I'm going to use the chinu, the top snail knot chinny to go over the top, okay? So I've got 2 hooks in this now. I'm going to get my bait elastic. They're quite big baits, but with that I'm going to get lots and lots of scent, fingers crossed. Okay, so I've got the bait elastic there now, so I'm going to basically tie it. These smooth hounds will smash that, and I mean completely smash that. We're in dirty water, shortest pulley rigs, and the main thing for me now is to make sure that hook point is exposed, okay, and literally away we go. So bass, congers, thornback rays, I mean, what an absolutely, I'll show you in a minute, but fantastic bait. I'm gonna have a chat with Gav, because I don't know if Gav's seen them this small before. Have you seen them that small before, Bio? Oh, you haven't got them yet? Look. Crazy, isn't it? Compared to what we get. But yeah, as I said, straight from the Isle of Wight. It's Slamfish, big up. So anybody that was after a few, do check him out. I mean, personally, I think these will work better than smooth out for peeler crab, and the amount you get on them, you'll get more off this than you will off a bait. But I'm going to change my bait elastic, okay, going to change my bait elastic and bought some new stuff today. There you go. There you go. Right, let's see if I can get some of that on there. It's a biggish bait, that. But at the same time, I want to make sure I got all the scent and away you go. So I'm going to cast this one out now and see how we get one. So I'm going to go forward a little bit, wade a little bit. I can see the tide line. I want to be inside that tide line because else I'll be over the back of that reef. So I don't know if you can pick up at the back of me. It's a tide line about 120 yards out. Basically what's happening is exactly the same what's happening here. It goes up onto another reef. So this specific part of I'm fishing many years ago, we'd come here on a big tide and we could wade out as far as you can, and we were actually fishing and pulling thornbacks over the back of that. But this bait is dripping, and I mean dripping. So let's see if it can pull us a smooth hound out today, eh? Hopefully it will do the business. Didn't really hit that. I didn't really hit that. It come off very nice. It lays on the line on the reel lovely, but to be honest, I don't want to be fishing very far out here. So until later on, I won't be pendulum casting, because if I pendulum cast, I'll be right over that back reef. Probably put one out a little bit further than that now, but see how we get on. So I'm going to set up another rig here now. I'm fishing rotten bottoms, I always do up the channel. Unless I'm fishing certain areas where I know I can get away with lead lifts. But where I'm the fishing at the moment, I would rather fish a rotten bottom just on the off chance. I mean, 9 times out of 10 you get lead back every time. I'm fishing with 20-pound rotten bottoms, so it's strong enough to pull through stuff and that. But at the same time, I'm not really hitting them, okay? But this one here I'll probably have a go at. So I'll probably hit him up right and let him come back round with the tide. But I find it's a bit early at the minute, this stage of the tide. Normally you get a run when we first get here, but you've got to be here early, and you've got to basically make sure you do the certain ways of getting to the mark will help you get on and get the fish. Not say you won't catch a fish now, I've had rays and stuff like that, but what I find more than anything, the smooth hound is on the turn of the tide, when the tide starts to flood. But who knows? I know everybody's different. I said that I was talking to Gavin on the way up here. Gavin's had it totally different from me. He's had it where he's got here and had hounds on the way down. So you never know at the end of the day, you never know. But I think tide is the main key to it, and hopefully we can get into a few today, eh? It'd be nice, wouldn't it? So rotten bottom, turn me leads up. Shorten that up a little bit. Okay, then that there will come in. Cool. Cut yourself then, trimming down, and basically what I'm going to do now is loop him around once, loop him around twice, and then I'm going to sit him down through like so, and then I'm going to set him up into position. Then I'm going to clip that onto my imp, okay? And that's my rotten bottom. So that will clip up and the lead will come down, allowing me to get my stuff if I get snagged. So here's the fun part. So I'm going to use, let's have a bit of leftover spider crab a minute, because it'll just be sat there. I'm going to put the other ones back in to make sure they stay frozen, because they seem to hold better instead of go into like goo. But you can see that crab comes right off there now. I don't really want to pull the outside skin off. And then what I'd tend to do is get my scissors, okay, and just crunch around just to break it up a little bit, just so you can basically pick it all off. so you've got no shell, and that there is prime. I mean, we nailed the smooth hounds over in Isle of Wight with them, and yeah, to be fair, we also had the smooth hounds on 8.0 mackerel baits targeting taupe, so it's one of them, isn't it, at the end of the day. But yeah, I'm going to position this in here now, get him set up on the hook. I'm not liking that. That's a bit better. Put him to the side, chuck him in the bin later on, I think. Right, so I can go in with a bag in a minute. Right, so let's get this bait sorted out first. So I'm going to position this this spider into position. I'm going to basically bring my first hook point down, and then basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to run my pennel hook down through the top like that, and then out the side of the hook like that. All right, and then basically what I'm going to do now is just form the bait shape with my hands. I mean, it's very, very stinky, and the other bait was a bit bigger than this, but as you can see now, that'll go down there like that, and hopefully that would produce us a fish. So same again, going to get him blasted out, put my bits and pieces back away, put the crab in the bag. I'm actually going to put those back in and freeze them down so they stay frozen, and then get them used in a bit. I've got the cool bag with me, so wipe my hands off, get the next cast out, and see how we get on, eh? Okay, let's bring this one in a minute and see if we got anything on it. Don't think we have. But what I can do is bring him in and bait him up. Laying on the reel, nice. Yeah, I like it. Got my lead back. Tend to do, get all the weed off the line. Early on up here you can get a lot of mayweed, and it pays an absolute nightmare when you've got hounds on. I mean, it really does. But first bait is intact. I'm going to put a prawn bait on now on this one, and we'll go for a little prawn bait for you. My waders have finally come to an end, and I'm absolutely gutted, because I've had these waders many years, and I mean many years. I've done a review for VAS on them when they first come out for the magazine, and that was Total Sea Fishing magazine, I think it was. Well, no, it wasn't, it was Sea Angler, because these aren't the Mark 1s, these are the Mark 2s. And yeah, I've done the original one for the Mark 1s for Total Sea Fishing, then I've done the second review on these for Sea Angler, and I'll tell you what, they have stood the test in time. I've absolutely done everything in them. Unfortunately, I went to bend down a minute ago and I split the middles, but yeah, as you can see, for probably best part of, I would probably say 7 years, 8 years, I've got to be coming up 7 years or 8 years of abuse. And within that time, I mean, they're fully waterproof still, except from where I've just bust them. The only thing obviously I've had is the knee, a little bit on the knees. That's down to general wear and tear over that, but I've literally smashed the pieces out of them and they're still going strong until today. So time to get another pair, I think, and yeah, game on. But I'm going to put a prawn bait on now and we'll go through it. Okay then, so as you can see the crab's been smashed to pieces. I say smashed to pieces, it's probably tied, but I'm going to basically cut it off now. So take that completely off, and we'll put a prawn on. Now guys, a very, very underestimated bait, and I mean underestimated bait. What can I say? They really are. There is something about them, and I get these from Hooker's Baits by the box, and they're really nice prawn. I mean, they work a treat. What I tend to do is get them, and then basically what I'll do is I'll put a little slit with the scissors from the top all the way down, right, to the bottom, and then come up the tail. Okay, that's the way I use these whole. Some people like to use these shell them and stuff like that. I leave it all on, if I'm honest. And what I'll tend to do, I like to put the top hook on first, right? So what I'll do is I'll come through the head of the prawn like so, and I'll probably go the other way around with it, to be honest. So I'll come back like that. Okay, and then I'll basically come out the side of the prawn like so. So that's my first hook put into place. Okay, and then the second hook then will come down and come out through its head. That's where the scent is, guys. That is where the scent is. And basically what I'll do is I'll just pull that around now, so that's all stuck in like so. I've got a hook point on the bottom of one of them then, and a hook point again on the other. Okay, so I'll just play with it a little bit just to manipulate it. Okay, like so. And then I'll get my bait elastic like that, and then I'll just wrap it. Okay, as I said, some people like to peel the prawn. Me personally, the smooth hounds aren't peeling them. Exactly the same with the crab. I remember Nick, I've never done it myself, but Nick went over to Wales one day. He couldn't get peeler crab, so he went and got a bucket full of hardback crab, and they had exactly the same amount of hounds as the Welsh lads using hardback crab. And it's crazy really, because you think all these people are going around spending hundreds of pounds on peeler crab for the smooth hounds, and then you got the hardback crabs what do exactly the same. So yeah, it's one of them. So that's that. And then what I tend to do, make sure that hook point's proud at the bottom, and away you go. I mean, really good fawny bait, really good smooth hound bait, really good bass bait. I mean, lots of different fish will take a prawn. And yeah, what I'm going to do quickly is just cut him right between the head and that there, just allow the juices just to flow a little bit. Okay, but all the scent's still there. Get him out and see if we can get fish on. Okay guys, I'm going to hit this one out now. I'm going to wade forward, put my line to the right. I'm going to try and get one out over that back end just quickly, see if we can pick up a fish. So I've hit one right at the back there now, and sometimes it can pay off, sometimes it can't. Normally it pay off for a fawn back, but see how it goes. Well, what can I say? It's slow, to say the least. I knew it would be around about now. I'll just put another fresh bait on, and that's all you can do really. I mean, you just got to try and stick it out until low water. I mean, you've always got a chance of catching a fish, I suppose, but personally I prefer that tide running through hard. But there's quite a few people where we are today. When I say a few people, I reckon there's probably 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's 10 anglers here. So yeah, it is quite busy. But it's been nice to be up. Nice to be up on the Bristol Channel, targeting a few smooth hound. I mean, it's not something I get to do very much anymore. It's just, I don't know, with work and everything, it's just hard to do. And a lot of the tides that I look at are midweek, and it's just, to be honest, it's expense as well comes into it. I mean, the days are gone of coming up for the channel for like 20 or 30 quid. I mean, it cost me probably 35 to 40 quid in fuel to get up and back, and it's an hour and a half from where I live, so it's not like it's just up the road. And by the time you put your packed lunch and your bait and everything else in it can be a costly trip. But we got 3 of us today, which obviously helps break the cost down. Well, I think a lot of you probably have the same sort of things. I mean, fishing's expensive now, isn't it? It's not. The days have gone of just like everything costs money. But the parking's the worst. I mean, I've seen some of the parking places where we've gone over the years and stuff, and now it's gone up and up and up. I mean, some places it was like 15 quid for 8 hours, not even for the day, and that's absolutely unreal. You know what I mean? 15 quid for 8 hours. You sort of like, you know what I mean? Especially if you're there, because some places we do like long trips, like sometimes 16 to 18 hours there. You know what I mean? So it's costing best part of 40 quid or more for the day. But I think they're just taking a mick with that sort of stuff, really, because they know people want to fish these places and stuff, and or they want to go and walk these places, and instead of just like coming up with a reasonable price like a tenner for a day or $5, it's just, that's ridiculous, isn't it? You know what I mean? But luckily where we're today, we haven't got to pay parking. But is it me or am I moaning? I don't know. I think it's getting older. I think. I don't know if Matey's got a fish there. He seems to think, I don't know if he's cast out actually. But no, lovely evening. Bit of a. It's supposed to be. I think it's gone more westerly. It's like southwest, but it feels in a minute more westerly than southerly. So yeah, as long as it stays like it is, though, we'll be all right. Just been peeling some of these crab's legs. They can be a good little cocktail, give a little bit of a nice little bit of scent. So they come off lovely as well, which is a good thing. I mean, my mate Wayne Jarman will be loving these right about now. He hates it when I get a crab. He's going, "What are you doing? What are you doing?" And he'll peel it down perfectly, where I'll just get it on my hook and send it out sea-bound. But no, they are very, very nice crab, guys. I've got to be honest. And yeah, I'm gonna chuck these in the mix on the next one. So see if we can get them out. Yeah, lovely. There you go. So I've got a few there now. When we were using them fresh, they were just, I don't know, something about them just really, really nice. And it's strange to see crab like that sort of size, because over here we get massive ones. I mean, when you're going through the rock pools, have a go at it, guys. Certain areas, if you've got rock pools and stuff like that where you're safe to get into, waders on, and you literally put your arm around the bottoms, and all you'll feel as you're going past is something go like that and start grabbing hold of you. Pull it up, and it's a big spider crab. And at certain times of year, in certain places, you can get them and collect them for bait. And we've done so, as I said, a couple of times in the past. Good bit of fun, really. While you're fishing as well, you get a couple of fresh ones, put one out for a hound while you're waiting, and yeah, good bit of fun. But yeah, you go, some fresh, or some frozen legs. I hate this part. Joseph's first time up on this part of the channel, on the reefs, so he'll be excited. I hope he gets a fish out. I like to have put him to the left hand side, really, but he's it's a weird one. Everybody comes up to where we are, and everybody will run down to the left. Me personally, I've had better fish where I am, and instead of casting out, and I've been out on the end casting right out into the bay, and I've had nothing. And then obviously guys like, I remember coming here with James Davis Cook one day, and he was hammering them out right where me and Joseph are now, and I never have had a fish out there. So it does go to show sometimes, especially with hounds. If you look at the ground behind me and stuff, it's like proper reef. So it's like like rock going down onto seaweed and that, and then as it gets to the bottom, it just sort of goes into a little gutter and goes onto sand. And a little bit to the right, it goes a little bit more muddy. But we've had blondes here, we've had spotted here, congers here, smooth hounds here, thornbacks here, bass here. So it's a place where you can pull out a lot of dogfish, a lot of different species, and yeah, it can be a dangerous mark. For those, I won't say where we are, because the last thing I want to do is see anybody ever in trouble. But basically where we're on, the tide comes in behind us, and you have got to watch out on these reef marks on the Bristol Channel, because no matter where you are, my advice would be is to speak to someone who goes to them or knows them. And if you want to go and fish one, go with someone what knows, because it is very easy to get caught out. I mean, where you look behind now and you think to yourself, oh, that's all right, just walk through there, 2 gullies back and you'll be up to there in water. I'll tell you a little story. So going back many years ago now, I think it was in the 90s, like late 90s, a friend of mine, another guy I know him as well, were up here fishing, and they fished here, this exact spot, and they never had nothing. And then they went off to the right hand side, and there's a spot you can fish for a little bit of time before the tide comes in behind you. But basically what the tide will come in behind where we are now first, and it will start flooding. And there's a certain thing you do. You basically look back 2 rock pools back to check what the condition is and how deep it is. Anyway, they went to check and everything was all right. We got about 45 minutes, ideal. Started it into cod, and one of them had a 10-pound cod, or had a double-figure cod. So they chucked another one out for a cast. Got carried away because it was one after another, just cod fishing, and they thought, oh my god, we better go and check. And they got back and they realised what they had done, and they had overstepped the boundary, and they didn't have enough time to pack their gear away. They literally snapped their lines and got out of there, and they basically had to put their tripods and rods above their heads, and they had water coming up over their waders, but they had to keep walking, because if they didn't keep walking, they wouldn't have got out. And luckily it was a lesson well learned. And it goes to show that you should never take this channel for granted, because it's very fast, it's very dirty, and it's very dangerous at times. And it also can be beautiful, it also can be lovely, and it also can be flat calm. But it's one of them. At the end of the day, local knowledge. Joseph said to me personally, I wouldn't go out on one of those reefs unless one of you boys took me, because I want to know I'm safe. And that's what obviously he's come out with us today. I've been doing this for the last 20 or 30 years now. I mean, 25 years, and it's one of them you sort of like know where you're going. I mean, especially where we are today, there was guys which couldn't get to where we are, and we basically I know where to go and where to walk and stuff, where you're safe. There's like sinking mud in places and stuff what you got to watch out for, but there is routes which you can basically walk around to fish safely. But yeah, that's a safety tip done, guys. But yeah, as I said, I'm off to Norway, so I'm very much looking forward to it. Got to be honest, very much looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to my personal, it's holiday fishing. Okay, so I'd like to get a halibut from the shore. I'd like to get a massive coley. When I say massive coley, I mean massive coley. I've had him double figures, and yeah, that's I wouldn't mind a big one. So yeah, and a big pollock. If I could get a double figure pollock, that would make me a very happy man. And the main one out of the trip, I want a 5-pound place. So if I can get a 5-pound place, a double figure pollock, a big coley, a halibut, and when I say a halibut, I'd like one 30 to 40 pound would be nice. Anything bigger is a bonus, but yeah, as long as it's a halibut for the shore would be nice. I mean, just say tick one off the list. It's not something I do every day, and yeah. Oh, I think someone's into a fish there. Is he? I don't know. He struck that hard then. I think he's missed it, hasn't he? Yeah, I think he's missed it. Oh. Dunno, mate. It's heavy. What? It's a ray. It's a ray. So, we did have a fish. You hold that rod a minute.
Yeah, got it.
Yeah. So guys, what I'll do is I'll let T900 let Joseph hold that rod. Well, I'll show you this fish in a minute. This is a classic example of prime thornback. Okay, classic. Look all these markings underneath it. Little thorns what's coming out. Look at the colouring on that fish. Pale white, lovely big dark thorns coming out the side of it. Not a massive fish, but definitely put up a lovely fight in these dark dirty waters. Top pennel hook, snail knot in straight away, and gonna get him on a hook now, and hopefully quick picture and we'll get him back to fight another day. Okay guys, lovely fawny. I'm holding them by the lip, okay? Nice way to hold them, just so basically you've got these little grooves here as well where you can hold them like that. But when I'm taking a photo, I normally hold them beyond the lip, okay? But you can't always do it. But we're gonna get him back now to fight another day. But this fish, lovely account for himself. The line held it lovely. And I could tell it was a ray. I'm sure I heard Joseph shout bass, and I thought it didn't feel like a bass. But yeah, that one there was on the Isle of Wight speeder crab. Speeder crab? Peeler crab. But yeah, look at that. Absolutely prime thornback ray. Look at those eyes. I mean, if you can get a little deep, look at that. Just at the perfection looking fish. Lovely colouring. Back to fight another day. Let's do it. That's really all you can do, guys. All you can do. I mean, he's gone straight back and fight. He was out the water a couple of minutes. The rays are normally quite strong and they're quite tough for that kind of thing. You normally can keep them out as long as they can get back in as quick as you can. Couple of photos and that and well in. But we need that smooth out now. Let's go get them. Rotten bottom done exactly what I wanted it to do. And yeah, as I said, first fawny out. That fish wasn't out at the one out distance, that one out, was out the left hand side. I hit it a little bit, but yeah, you normally get a few fawnies here. But guys, I do get messages coming through about sometimes about putting blank sessions on and stuff. I could come up to the Bristol Channel every single trip and produce those type of fish, okay? Just normal thornbacks, bass, smooth hound, you name it. It's a perfect place to come to do it. The trouble is, I'm looking for bigger and better, and that is the only thing with the channel. I want to be able to do what I love to do, and personally, that's what I love to do, is target specimen fish. So I know a lot of you enjoy, even if I do the blank sessions, but every now and again, like the other weekend when I got people asking me, what's going on? You no fish, no fish. I'm only human. I mean, I'm not some kind of like super what I'm looking for, like Superman, you know what I mean? So it's one of them. We're all human. Unfortunately, sometimes we blank, sometimes we don't. And in my game, you tend to blank more times than you do. You know what I mean? I'm fishing marks which throw up big fish, or some of the time don't throw up fish at all. So with that, you've got to take that kind of fishing. But those ones still are lovely. They're lovely when you keep them frozen. They are lovely when you keep them frozen. Okay, so let's get this one on the go. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to cut him right down through the middle. Thornbacks seem to like it anyway, eh? All right, and I've got somewhere, I don't know where I put them. Have they run off with them? I hope they haven't. Oh, there they are. I got them. I've got all my legs I peeled a minute ago. So let's chuck these on. So what I'm going to do now is basically peel that off. And this one here, I can do it to it. Because it's less frozen now, you can literally give them a little punch. I don't know if you can hear that. Pop, and then away you go. They come on down. And there's lots of scent in them. There really is. But I'm trying to get rid of all the crunchiness and just leave them in place. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, I'm going to position the bait. See again, that was top hook straight away. That's why I like using this rig. I'm not saying the dongle rig doesn't work at all, guys. What I'm trying to say is you'll miss fish with the dongle rig. Okay, it's something I get asked all the time. Why don't you like the dongle rig, Andy? Why don't you like the dongle rig? It's out of years and years of fishing and knowing I'd rather have that extra hook there, because I've had smooth hounds take that bottom hook. You know what I mean? And I've had thornbacks exactly the same, rays and stuff like that. And I know full well that if I fish like that, I know I've got you're waiting sometimes long times for bites and stuff, aren't you? So to me personally, I'd rather sit there knowing that I've got more chance of hooking up. I mean, imagine getting a bite over and it's just a dead bite. You know what I mean? A bounce over, it doesn't hook up. We've all had them. You know what I mean? That bottom hook just gives you that little bit more of a chance. But look, that's scent in that. Also, I'm going to put a couple of them on there, just to enhance the flavour. Okay, and we'll get them going around and round like that. Lovely. Just making that bait puff out a little bit more, and away we go. But that was hooked perfectly. As I said to Joseph earlier, I prefer to use the chinnies than the circles, if I'm honest. You can strike into them, and as I say, they're very, very strong. With the pulley rigs, what I use as well, it tends not to deep hook the fish, because they're quite short. You get an instant bounce and a bit instant lift with the lead, and 9 times out of 10, as that fish goes to run, it do exactly the same as what it done that thornback again. It will hit and hook straight inside the lip. But that's the first fish out from the trip. See if we can get another one. Look at that. That is pure sexy. I don't know, if I do say so myself. Okay then, so I'm going to get this one hooked up quickly, and I'm going to get him blasted out again. So the ray's always tied to stick to the bottom here, so yeah, you tend to get a lot of smaller fish here as well. I mean, you got to get through the good one. I think the best one I've had here is about £9. I've yet to have a double off here. I think I've had double next door and next door down again, but I don't think, if I remember correctly, I've had a double off here. I think it was like just under. So it'd be nice to see a £10 out here today, Fawny, if we're going to get one. I'm going to blast this one out now, guys, and then hopefully we can see another fish out. Perfect tips for this, the Century T900s eliminators, and yeah, match up with the Fathom 15s, Gomez handles, in goes tripod. If you notice what I've done, I've put the leg out to the right and locked it, just because of the way the wind's blowing. The last thing I want to do is see those rods go over with those eyes on and lose an eye out here today. I mean, it's quite windy, so we just got to play it by ear. But first fish out for the trip, so hopefully see some more. Okay guys, Joseph's first time to this part of the Bristol Channel. He's fished a lot further up. Looks like someone's into a snag or a hound.
It's a snag, they've lost 2 sets already.
Yeah, there is a bit of a snag right out in front of where they are. I don't know if he's into a fish or not though, because you get a lot of bass there. So it's coming. It might be a hound. He's got it.
Nah, it's off.
No, it's off. It's off. But this is totally different than anything you've ever done.
A lot different, yeah.
Yeah, and as you said to me before, you would never come up to here on your own.
No.
You want to come, and the reason why
is because the Bristol Channel can be a really dangerous place to fish. You don't know what you're doing.
As I've stated before in the video, guys, it's at the end of the day, it's, a lot of people know where we are. We're on the reefs at the end of the day, but there's a lot of different reefs, and they're all pretty much the same. I mean, first time I've ever come up to the reef, it's not a million miles away from here, and I've fished it at high water, and then I've fished it down to low water, and we had fish all the way through, and it seems to be there is a lot of fish around. Has he got a fish on?
They've had one small schooling.
Have they?
That I've seen, and his friend's lost a set.
All right, he's trying to get up. There you go. But yeah, so I've spent a lot of time over the years where we are, Joseph, and got a chance of fishing and catching a lot of mixed species. And our main target for today is smooth hound. Now, I feel now as the tide starts to turn, we start getting a lot of tide start to pull, we will hopefully see the fish move in. Can be fawn backs, but normally if it's smuts, I refer to smuts as smooth hound, and you'll get probably Gav going off first, then me, then Joseph. If not, it can develop differently. I mean, it can miss Gav's baits and they could go onto mine, or they can miss mine and go straight onto Joseph's. Once they're in, as long as we can keep baits there, we'll keep getting them. And I've had some really, really good sessions coming through here. I had one session and I think we had about 15 fish. Never had a fish up until now. I could only fish one rod. It was like bang, 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 but they weren't massive. I think the biggest one we had was about 12 and a half, between 10 and 12 and a half pound. But I know there's been some monsters caught off here in the past, and yeah, my biggest comes a lot further up channel, but I've had them here where we are now, so like 13 or 14 pound, and yeah, you've got chance of 20s at the end of the day, and I'd love to see a 20.
I would love to see it.
Yeah, it'd be nice to see it. It's not to say it's going to happen, because it's not. What I like about today is how muggy it is.
Yeah, it's kind of that weather where you want to take your jumper off, but if you take the jumper off, you think you're going to be cold. Yeah, and you're not. And you're not. Because I'm like this now. But it's quite muggy out there. I like it being a bit overcast for the smuts as well. And yeah, game on. So how are you finding the crab? Oh, it is good crab.
Yeah, it's lovely, peatable crab.
It's gutsy.
Yeah, I'm loving it, guys. I really am. That one there was at a little time. I think that Ray was sat on that. But as I said, with that top hook, straight in, wasn't it? Yeah. And yeah, the bottom hook wasn't even in its mouth. So it goes to show that the dongles can work. But as I said many times in the videos and stuff, and it's questions I get asked all the time, why don't I like the dongle? Because I'd rather have that extra hook there as a precaution. I mean, better have a hook there than not a hook there. And people will say about fish care and that, if your rigs are set up correctly, it doesn't make no difference, because after that rig goes over, it will pull straight up into its lip every time. I've never had a gut hook smut, and I've never had a gut hook ray. They're every time in that lip. So yeah, it's just obviously the way you're building rigs and stuff. I wouldn't use massive long traces and stuff where we are, because you got more chance of hooking in getting a deep hook fish, or missing the bite completely. So yeah, but here, let's see if we can get a few fish out, eh, Joe? Come on down. go get one. Okay guys, so I'm going to bring this one in now. Got some baits already set up, ready to go. I see the tide's starting to pull now. We've just gone down to low water. The tide's about to change, so I'm going to get some fresh baits on and see if we can get a hound out. Rock and roll. So what I'm going to do on this one here is I'm going to set this down here like so for the bottom hook. Okay, with that bottom hook which I've just set in there, I can literally bring this one around like that. I want to get him slimline into the bait if I can, just so when that smut comes along it picks it right up. That comes around like that. Okay, they're not massive hooks. And then at the same time then I'll put this other hook through this other side here, which comes out like that. So I've got a hook on two sides of the bait.
Pull it.
Might have a fish on here. Weed. Just a quick flick in. When you get that weed moving and it's going right out there, the trouble is if you start belting them out there, the weed will come through and set on your line. So sometimes it's better to fish just below. You can see the weed coming through there about 60 yards out in a minute, and it'll come right through like that. But as soon as that gets on your line, it just hauls your line down. We've lost fish before because of that. So I'm going to just try and put one in close. Hopefully these smuts come along this bottom of this reef. As you can see that where the rock goes on to mud and weed and stuff, and hopefully we can see a few smooth hounds out. So we have Joseph, load of weed on like I did, but it's got Varva Sport on here now. Coming and coming and coming, and it's got a little bit of weed on his line there. He keeps reeling. It's hard to compare it to the two because he hasn't been locked up with it, but yeah, it's one of them. You're out there, Joe, aren't you? Well in, mate. No, can we take this? Can we take this? That weed on it as well is good fish. That's a good one, Gav, isn't it? It's coming there. Coming now. Okay guys, we're in for some action here now because Gav's just getting into a smooth hound, staying deep, holding bottom. Sometimes when you get a decent fish, it won't run straight away, it will stay deep and trying to hug the bottom. The fish is going absolutely mental. It could be weed on there as well. We've had a lot of weed coming through, but with that rod being bent over like that, I've got a feeling it's a good one. Thorny. There you go. That's why it's hugging bottom. It's sped off like a smooth hound, but there's the culprit. Fawn back ray. Not exactly what we wanted. I thought the way that was hugging deep then, that was a good hound, didn't you? Never mind. Oh, one of them. I got excited then because I thought he's at the first one, they'll start coming through. But look at that.
Do you know what?
Hooker's bait's prawn, smashed. And do you know what? Look what I said. Bottom hook. If that fish was a dongle, if that was a rig was a dongle, he wouldn't have caught that fish, right? Hook's right on the bottom hook. That's why we use them, boys and girls. Well in, mate. Nice pitch.
Wait, that's off.
So, as we always do, we return back to fight another day. We've got a bit of weed coming through. I thought that was going to be the big one. I thought that was the smut we were after. Sadly not, but you're bound to get these when you're targeting smooth hound. But a few fish out for the camera today, guys. There you go, the famous Bristol Channel. Murky, dirty, and full of pleasure. Well, ratchets are set, and if it's going to happen, this is when it's going to happen. Nothing's guaranteed, guys. Nothing's guaranteed with smooth hound fishing. They're either there or they're not. The way that fish stayed deep then, and the way Gavin hit it, because I could hear it screaming off, I thought he was into a good smooth hound, because sometimes you tend to hold and try to use the depth of the water to hold, and before you start moving them, then they'll start going with the tide. But because it stayed there as long as it did, it was only until it started moving, and because he's got those rods are quite stiff, and it was buckled over. But the rays do give a good account for themselves here. The depth of water and the tide mixed in with the weed and everything else, what you're pulling through, you've got to get them up. You've got to get them up, and once you get them up, you've got to keep that tension. But the tide's getting there now. I'm going to go down to one rod in a minute and get another rig ready and just basically just fish my heart out, ready for that smooth hound. But if it happens, it happens. If it don't, it don't. It's all fishing. But a few rays out for the camera for you today, which is always nice. So yeah, game on, and let's see if we can get one out. Okay guys, so I'm gonna hit this one here out now. Done a little spider crab bait just to try and see if I can get a fish, but I'm gonna hit him out in that tide line. So that's that one out. Going to bring the other one in quickly and blast him up. Probably put him a bit closer in. See if we can get one out. That one was hammered out there. Looking good at the minute, guys. Well, the tide's rushing in now, so if it's going to happen, it's going to happen any minute. But at the moment, pretty slow, which I thought the tide was really good today. We talked about it. It's conditions-wise, I'd rather have a little bit of a chop than a completely flat sea. And yeah, just one of them, innit? Got to be in it to win it. The time has come. These crab baits are coming back intact, which means there's no dogfish out there, which is a good sign. Because you can get bombarded, as I said earlier on, with dogfish, and that's the last thing you want when the smooth hound are here. We'll feed them up for later. I'm sure something will come across and eat that lovely bit of crab there later on. But for the minute, we'll fix our eyes on this one. So I'm going to put this one in the bottom. Come out through the back if I can. That one was tight. Okay, it's a nice little crab bait out the back. Man's best friend, a bait elastic, and then basically what I'll try to do is get that around that hook like that. Lovely. So when that does come up, whoosh. And then what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put that top hook through the top of the crab. And then basically I'm going to wrap this around now. What was the... I thought I felt the land move then. Gav's backside again, eh? But yeah, there you go. So that one there, it's ready to go out now. So just got to try and make it count. That's all you can do. Keep deploying fresh baits and just hope those reels go screaming off. Let's get in there. Right, this one here now I'm going to drop short, okay? I've got one right out there on the, past that tide line. This one here I'm just going to drop probably about 60 yards and hopefully something comes in over the top of it. See what happens. That's a better view, innit? Sorry about me crutch, boys and girls. I split me waders. I need a new pair. It's there, as I said earlier on, they're very, very old. And the sun's coming up between the clouds at the minute, which is always nice. But one out of range. Just check the drag on that one. Yeah, one out of range, and the other one is about 60 yards out. I used to come up here all the time, bang them to the horizon, bang them to the horizon. I'm actually, to the right hand side of Joseph is where I had my first ever double-figured smooth hound. many years ago, on a squid bait, £10 free, and yeah, back in the old days. And yeah, a bit later on dirty squid. And yeah, they seem to take squid a little bit later on in the year. Makes it a bit cheaper trip, doesn't it? But to be honest, all spider crab for the money, they're pretty good, you know what I mean? But we're getting 2 big baits. Really, you could get 3 baits out of them. It might be good to like mix them with a little bit of squid or a little bit of prawn, and away you go. But yeah, all good, guys. I hope you're enjoying the production. As I said, Bristol Channel, and yeah, it's famously known throughout the UK. I mean, it's easy fishing. It's easy fishing. If you want to go and pull a few fish out, you've got the Welsh side, you've got the English side, and 9 times out of 10 you'll see a fish or 2. It's quite prolific, which is good, really. It's what you want sometimes, isn't it? But I used to put a lot of time into it when I like early days. As I said, the only time I really come up here now was for cod and for smooth hound. I come up for sole for the first time ever the other day. Well, it was quite good. I quite enjoyed that. But you can't get them every time, can you? But it's a lovely day, very bright. You can see straight across to the Welsh side at the minute. I'm just waiting for those reels to go screaming off. But yeah, we've got some very interesting stuff coming your way. Christmas special, European Open. It's going to be filmed next week, or the week after, sorry. And yeah, very much looking forward to that. Me and Gav's off to Bodo in Norway. And yeah, I can't wait, to be honest. We're just going to film it as it is, guys, and hopefully we can get a few fish on the way. I mean, nothing's guaranteed. Gav's never been over this time of year before. There's a lot of big mackerel about at the minute, so I'm looking forward to trying getting a few of them. Fresh mackerel, and chuck them out as bait. Game on. But yeah, it's just holiday fishing for me and Gav, really. So what we'll probably do is we're fishing 2 rods each. So we'll probably put 1 each out for a halibut, and whoever rod goes first gets that rod, gets that one, and then probably to like taking turns, you know what I mean, on the halibut rod. So everybody gets it's holiday fishing, you know what I mean? And at the end of the day, it's the way I always like to fish. If you're doing that sort, it's different over here. Like mainly 2 rods is what you need, you know what I mean? Especially if you're like part of the wyvern and stuff. You normally, you've got a 2 rod rule. I think Cornwall, I think, is a bit different. I think they're allowed to use 3 rods, but all our club fishing up here, obviously what's connected with the wyvern angling trust, is 2 rods. So it's a bit, when you're going over there, to be honest, honestly, I wouldn't want to fish more than 2 rods, if I'm honest. I think it's hard work with 2 rods at times, you know what I mean? Especially if you go into the right places and stuff. And it's like, it's crazy. But we did talk about bringing a few extra rods and stuff, but we're not. We're going to take a lure rod and have a go with a lure. So I've got the new Namora Kanji, which is a 3.3 metre rod, cast up to 120 grams, 30 grams, I think. And I'm looking forward to using that. I've got that matched up with a 50 size cabo, continent cabo, and I've also got the Century lure rod, which I'm going to match up with a BG 3500. So I've got Daiwa J braid for both reels, 25 and 37. So yeah, got that to come this week and get basically loaded up onto the reels and stuff. And then I'm taking my Saltigas and taking over my black and golds. So yeah, hopefully, to be honest, like I said, I would love to see a halibut out, even if it's £10, you know what I mean, just to say I caught an halibut. It's as I said, it's not something that I would want to do constantly, because I think I'd lose the love for it over here. Like I mean, you can see a lot of guys who don't catch a lot of fish over here. They tend to go over to Norway a lot, and the reason being is how easy it is over there. I mean, some of the guys I know, it's like decent anglers I know, some of the fish that they've had out over there is absolutely unreal. Oh, I had a bite there on the left rod. And to be honest, I've had a little bit of guidance, which is always nice. I've got a few friends who obviously put a lot of time in over there and helped me out a little bit to say what I need and what I need to take. Went over to Adam Small and borrowed his bazooka tube, and he kindly give me some lures to take over and stuff. You know what I mean? That's what we're about. That's what friends do. You know what I mean? Help each other out at times. And yeah, so I don't have lots of lures. It's not the sort of thing I do a lot of. But over there, I can't wait to get that Century rod. It's only a little rod, but I can't wait to get it out there, bang, and hopefully try and get double figure coley on it, because how much fun would that be? But yeah, it's probably one of the places I've always wanted to visit, Bodo, and yeah, I'm looking forward to it, to be fair. But yeah, as the sun starts to fade away into this early evening on the Bristol Channel, I see hopefully we can see a fish out, and we'll catch up with the rod bending over and screaming reels and one of us pulling back into it. But at the moment it's not looking good, but that can all change in a blink of an eye, because as soon as that smuck comes through, I would think Gavin may get the first one, or me, or Joseph. It might skip both of us and go straight to Joseph. Who knows? Let's find out. Well, I got something pulling away at this in a minute. I don't know what it is, but it keeps ticking away. I think it's weed. Let's find out. Bit of weed on. Personally, I don't think it's going to happen today, but I'm going down the one rod now, because in a minute it's going to be hard enough fishing. So on that note, I'm going to go down the one rod. So I've got one rig there ready to bait up and send him back. That way we've got a little bit longer time, because the tide will start coming in behind us as the light's fading. And we haven't got headlights with us today because we weren't planning on a late trip. But here goes. Hopefully we can see a smooth hound out at the final moments. If not, it's back to base camp. Joseph's bringing one in now as well. Everybody's getting sort of like ready down the one rod. Put that behind us now, and hopefully we can get a fish out, guys. So unfortunately, no more fish to declare. And as the tide starts to push us off the reef we're on, we sadly say our farewells. A couple of fish out for the channel, and yeah, it's one of the many joys of the Bristol Channel. It's very prolific, and 9 times out of 10, you make the effort to come up and travel up to places like this, you'll get the rewards. I mean, perfect sort of venues from Minehead down to Porlock, all the way up through to Clevedon. There's a lot of accessible high water marks, and obviously the reef marks and stuff are a bit more dangerous, which, as I said before, is more of looking to go with someone what's done it before, and if not, go to some of the reefs which are accessible, and basically you don't get water coming in behind you, and there's a few of them. So like Lilstop's never a very good place where you can obviously pull a few fish out, smooth hounds and that. You've got Shirton, which is another good one. There's a lot of different venues around the Bristol Channel really, but White Mark, Porlock, or loads of different places to pull out smooth hound, going all the way up through the channel, all the way up to the top end. But this sort of time of year now, the reefs are early on at normally the top end, and this sort of time now is really the reefs and the high water marks really going down through Minehead area and that. But it's exactly the same as a Welsh side. You've got Aberfoyle and places like that, which is easy marks to get to and stuff. So for those of you that are looking out to try and get out and target a few smooth hound, the Bristol Channel is a great place to be. But nothing's ever guaranteed, as you found out today. And when you put in baits what look like that, 1, 2, 3, ready and waiting to go, and I don't think I'm going to get to use them all today, guys, sadly enough, so we'll probably be given back to the sea and hookless for something to come along and have it as a snack later on. But no, going to start packing down now and getting everything ready, because once that tide hits us, we've got to go. Gav's already packing up now, and I've got not long at all either. So we say our farewells. But tight lines, hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you in another adventure.